Okay, so part two of the chart template that I use for tracking the flow of the market, the build-up of flow, and to help me pinpoint the higher probability trading opportunities in terms of a directional bias. Um, we've worked our way through to the daily close markers, and now we're going to talk about. I've got my watermark there. We're going to talk about the volume profile indicator. Now, not all brokers on TradingView offer this, but I've set it. Bear with me. I've set it up so that it tracks the days of the week and the volume profile of each day of the week. So, um, in this instance, looking at let's look at um, Monday. So Monday, I've got the volumes on the left, and there's the point of control. Okay, so this gives me a nice view of the direction of the market. All right, so tracking day by the grayed areas as a range, and it's tracking the volume areas. So when I look at that, I can say to myself, well, resistance here, support down here, support, resistance, support, resistance, using the volume point of control as the support and resistance areas. And also, if we really move down into the profile itself, then you're seeing the higher volume areas, which can also be used as support and resistance. Um, so that's a whole new subject, volume profile. You can go and research that, but I find it quite useful. Um, and then, where are we on that? So you can find that, I believe it might have moved, but let's try SVP. Okay, so session volume profile is it's an indicator that comes as default from TradingView. And the way I've set it up, you can take a screenshot of that if you want to copy mine exactly. Okay, right. So moving over now to daily, weekly, monthly highs and lows. Okay, so this is a very handy indicator. This gives me the lines in the sand, if you like. So um, the highs and lows of the month, the prior month, so the prior month, the prior week, and the prior day. So when I come in, say, like today, Tuesday, just by looking at that, I know exactly that we are below yesterday's low. The green lines are yesterday's range. The orange lines are last week's range. And the pink lines, which is hidden behind that resistance line, are last month's highs. So there I've got a snapshot of the range that we're trading within. And this gives me nice information because we're breaking yesterday's lows. So I'm bearish, but I'm also of the mind that we could be dragging breakout traders to the downside to trap them only to come back up on the inside of yesterday's range. If we remain below at today's close, if we remain below yesterday's close, which is that red line, if you remember from my indicator, the daily close markers. No, sorry, not that one. Yesterday's. Yeah, so I got confused. That's just a resistance. Okay, so this line here. So if we remain below yesterday's close, right, then and yesterday's low, then that's particularly bearish for me. If we were to move back up on the inside, then I would regard that as a false breakout, and I'd be looking for the market to continue on up because it's trapped traders on the downside. It's moved back up and it's going to pull away from them, leaving them trapped. Okay, so that's what I use these markers for, and I like to have a target. I use them as targets, as support and resistance. It's basically giving me information of where the bias is on the chart. Um, so if we are heading down, then on a break of last week's lows, then that's leaving last month's lows vulnerable. And last month's lows, between last week's lows and last month's lows, you've got all of that money that is long in the money still. Okay, so that's essentially what the bears are going to target, and aka low hanging fruit, right, for the market to move into. And then when you pair that with noting the price imbalances, the the um, the market where there are less opposing volumes. So if you look at this day here, you can see that between here and up here, if it breaks those lows, it's likely to be a fast move down into volume. Okay, so that's how you're combining these indicators now. It's all coming together. Okay, so that's that. And that can be found in, let me try DMW, DWM, rather, DWM. Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly opens by SBTNC. Um, and that's how I've got it set up. So you can take a snapshot, a screenshot, pause the video, and that's how I've got it set. Okay. Now we move over to the week and day separator. So this basically just allows me to see what day we were on the week, what day of the week we are on. Sometimes I get confused what planet I'm on sometimes. So it's nice to know what day of the week I'm on. So Tuesday, Monday, and also for the day count. So I can look back at the chart. You see this yellow line here, that just separates last week. That's the new week. That's the prior week. So all of that is 1 week, 2 weeks. So this helps again to study the flow of the market. So I can look at this, take a glance, and say, right, well, we've got 2 weeks. We've got 2 weeks of shorts in the market. Will we have a third week? And if we do, then great. And where are we heading to? Well, we're likely heading into last month's longs, right? And at that point, when I come into the next week, what's my bias? If we break last month's lows and then move back up on the inside firmly, then that's giving me information. That's giving me information that we're likely now, because we've got 3 weeks worth of shorts in the market, and we've dragged traders even lower, and we've moved up to trap them, then that's given us liquidity to carry on moving up into 3 weeks of shorts. And if that all happens, let's say, like I said earlier in the last video, I believe, on the third day of the week or the third day of shorts of that week. So we've got week 1, week 2, and now we're into week 3. We're in week 3 at the moment. If we close this week down and we move back up, say next Monday, right? And then Tuesday, maybe an inside day, right? What do I think is going to happen Wednesday? Especially if we're working the lows on Wednesday, so Asia, London, and New York, and we're down low again, then I'm going to be biased for a rally, a parabolic move to wipe out all of the shorts from the week that we're in, and to start piling into the shorts that have been built up over the last few weeks. Okay? So I'm working in 3-week cycles, 3-day cycles, and 3 session cycles. Okay, so that helps me with monitoring where we are in the week. And if you want to have a look how I've got that set up, that's how it is. pause the video or take a snapshot, and there you go. And then finally, so now this chart is looking very muddled. So you don't have to have all of this information on at the same time. We can go into hot sessions. Now, this is a friend of mine who kindly made me this indicator. And what this is giving me is giving me the 3 sessions. So like, for instance, today, we were talking about the Asian, London, and New York. So we've got 3 sessions of lower lows and lower highs, right? So that gives me good information for Wednesday. That's giving me the information that, there might be an opportunity here on Wednesday, considering we've got day 1, day 2. On day 3, we could be working the lows to come up into shorts of the week so far. And that's not to say that they'll carry on, or to say that the bearish bias has been eroded and that we're not targeting last month's lows or a break of last week's lows. We might get a break of last week's lows tomorrow, subsequently move up. So in Asia, we might break that, and then in London, we might move up, trapping those traders. And then on the US session, well, my bias will be to buy low and push up into the shorts of this week so far, right? So we've come down again, and then maybe tomorrow we break yesterday's, last week's lows. Maybe we'll come back up, or maybe we'll carry on, or maybe we'll come back up. But all of this is giving me good information. And then in the US session, we might be working the lows to pile up into Monday's lows. Yeah, and then if that fails, then we've got traders trapped up there, and then we've got a new template on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to head lower. Or it may be that Wednesday continues up, Thursday continues up, and then on Friday, we might have an almighty move to the downside, paving the way for maybe it'll be next week that we start moving towards last month's lows. Right? We're only at the start of the month, so plenty of time to build up longs to come short towards the end of the month. So, we don't know, but there's no point guessing what's going to happen. You trade what you see. So that's what this indicator template is giving me. It's giving me a lot of information in terms of the flow of the market and where we are on any given day. So that's what this hot session is doing for me. And it's also giving me the market open, New York, and then the Wall Street open, the grayed area. So, and it's also these white lines are giving me yesterday's range. So today, I can look at this and see yesterday's highs. I've had to change broker and assets to demonstrate this clearly, but the white lines offer yesterday's, prior day's highs and lows. For some reason, which I'll look into, it's not tracking correctly in this instance. Yesterday's low, this white line should be down here for yesterday's low, in line with these green lines. So I'll look into that. Anyway, so that's that. And if you want to look at, if you're trading the US session, then that's how I've got it set up. I can't quite remember what this was based on, USCT prices. That's how I've got it. So you'll just have to toggle the price, the hours of the day to suit your time zone, your charts, and so forth, and marry up the sessions. But for me, the New York session starts at 7 a.m. New York time, and that is calculated here at 11 o'clock. I don't know what time zone that is, to be honest. UTC, I guess. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so this is calculated on UTC prices. So 11 o'clock minus 7, 4. Yeah, so it's UTC prices. And then I've got it all lined up as follows. I don't believe I've configured Asia. Let's see, Asia. No, yeah, that's the Tokyo Open. Um, that's Frankfurt Open. Yeah, so it seems to be about right. So that's how I've got it configured. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of that, and that brings us to a conclusion of the template. Now I've got the ATR as well down here. You can stick that in and indicate as ATR, and that would just give me an indication of what the average price movement has been over a period of time. I've got it set to 14, I believe. Yeah, RMA smoothing. Okay. So on any given day, we've got about an 80 pip move on uh, euro, and on the hourly basis, 15 pips. So it just gives you an indication of what range you might expect for the day or per time frame that you're on. So there you are. That's it. I hope that helped.